Hello and welcome to TV9 News. I'm your host Ashish Parekh. Now, during the pandemic, there was not just a spike in the number of COVID-19 cases, but also there was a spike in the number of cyber crimes across the country. A lot of companies started their operations, started working remotely. There were a lot of operations that were shifted to remote access as well. And also, what this meant is that a lot of these cyber criminals also started targeting all of these companies. Apart from the regular cyber attacks that you had over the years, this year in particular was pretty much a treasure hunt for cyber criminals across the world. And now, according to Kaspersky researchers, there was a 242% growth in brute force attacks on remote desktop protocols or RDP as compared to last year. Now, what exactly is RDP? Well, RDP is called as remote desktop protocol, and this basically is a software which provides access to a desktop or an application which is hosted on a remote host. Now, this basically allows you to connect, access and control data and resources on a remote host as if you were working or doing it locally. For example, if you're using a computer at your home, you would be able to access all the features, all the files and documents that you would be able to access in your office as well. So that exactly is remote data protocol. And as per this report, some 3.3 billion attacks on remote desktop protocols were made between January and November 2020. This is a massive number, and during the same time last year, in fact, Kaspersky had detected 969 million of these attacks, which is also more, but then much lesser compared to what we've seen this year. Let's talk about India. In India, the number of detections went as high as 36 million in 2020 between January and November. So we had 36 million attacks this year itself. So what was the number compared to last year? Well, half of this, that is the number of attacks in the same period last year, was just around 18 million, which is also a high number, but then compared to the number this year, it sounds pretty small. Researchers also say that these attacks were attempting to brute force username and password for RDP. So what exactly is the brute force? What is brute force attack? What do hackers do in that? Well, a brute force attack uses trial and error to guess login info, encryption keys, or even find a hidden web page. Hackers, for example, work through all possible permutations and combinations, hoping to guess the login info correctly. And once they do that, once they are successful, it results in getting them remote access to the target computer. So once they get the login credential of your computer, they might easily access all the files and all the data from your computer. And that exactly is a brute force attack on an RDP. Now, how long does it take? Well, depending on the length and the complexity of the password, cracking it can take anywhere from a few seconds to many years. Apart from this, 1.7 million unique malicious files were also disguised as apps for corporate communication. So this year clearly was much of a treasure hunt for cyber criminals across the world. So what's the reason behind such a massive spike in such RDP attacks? Yes, one thing is very easy to understand, which is a lot of people started working remotely. That is why it was very easy to access. But what are the technical details of this? Well, according to cyber security firm Checkpoint, the sudden rush to provide remote access to employees by restructuring network and security systems during the lockdown made companies extremely vulnerable to ransomware attack. And due to the immediate push, several IT companies across the world were unable to scale up their cloud security postures, which led to increased opportunity for cyber criminals to carry out all of these attacks. So all in all, this is something that happened all of a sudden. A lot of companies, it was a matter of survival for a lot of companies, so they had to shift their operations online. And when they did that, they did not really have the infrastructure. Even if they did, the security was not enough for them to protect them against cyber criminals. So this is the entire picture, and that means that India has had 36 million RDP attacks, which is remote desktop protocol attacks, in just 2020, which is a massive number. Do let us know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, and also do not forget to like, share and subscribe to TV9 Digital. Thanks a lot for watching.